Happy hump day, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Got a lot to discuss today. There was a press conference yesterday pertaining to Riley Strain. The Cajun Navy spoke, parents spoke, the sergeant spoke. During this live stream, you'll hear audio pertaining to the parents having a meeting with the mayor. The mayor has met with the parents. The mayor will not discuss what was said during that meeting. You're also going to hear about the searches that are to be exacted by the Cajun Navy out of Louisiana. And then we'll just go back and recap the disappearance of Riley Strain. Once again, welcome, new subs, guests. The panel is open for discussion, so please make it worth my while. Hit that link. Come up on the panel to give your opinion. You can show yourself, not show yourself. I'm also going to go over polls that I posted yesterday after my last live stream. Please go to YouTube Q to check out my latest lives pertaining to Riley Strain and Sebastian Rodgers and other breaking news. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $McAngie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. 2 movie suggestions for the week. Night Talk and The Caller. Both are playing on Tubi for free, okay? So I believe so to make sure they're 2 different movies. But The Caller is a very good movie. I finished it this morning. It's a very good movie, and I hope you all enjoy that. Let's go over the polls that I posted, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Any updates you need to verify, they're in the YouTube queue and also posted to my community board if you need verification for any information. Will Sebastian Rodgers be found? 57% yes, 18% no, 24% not sure. Will Riley Strain be found? 71% yes, 9% no, 20% not sure. Were Proudfoots in backyard with flashlights setting up the disappearance of Sebastian? 64% yes, 16% no, 20% not sure. Was Mr. Proudfoot home entire weekend, Friday evening through Sunday night? 54% yes, 20% no, 27% not sure. Should the Proudfoots give more interviews? 65% yes, 30% says no, and then 4% of you said you were not sure. Do you think Riley knows the 2 TikTokers who found his bank card? 7% yes, 81% no, 12% not sure. Do you think that Riley Strain left the downtown area by foot or by car? Yes, by foot, 51%. Yes, by car, 18%. No, by foot, 3%. No, by car, 8%. Not sure of either, 21%. So 51% of you who voted believe he left by foot. How sad is it that allegedly Riley Strain was denied entry into another bar after Luke 32 wandering around and there's no sightings of him? Do you think he told his friend he was going to try another bar? 32% yes, 46% no, 21% not sure. Did friend tell Riley to wait outside of the bar that night? 20% yes, 46% no, 34% not sure. One comment. Quinny6920 says, they shouldn't have let him out of their sight! Exclamation point. I know if one of my friends and I ever got kicked out, the whole crew leaves. Period. Some will agree with that. Did Riley Strain's frat brothers hire attorneys? 65% yes, 13% no, 23% not sure. Did Riley meet someone after the bar, hook up with a person? 10% yes, 61% no, 29% not sure. Was Riley lured, kidnapped, or he left on his own accord? Lured, not alive, 19%. Kidnapped, not alive, 0%. Left on his own, but he's alive, 6%. Left, met someone, not alive, 28%. Not sure of any, 47%. Does Riley Strain's parents trust the police are doing a thorough job investigating their son's disappearance? 12% yes, 81% no, 8% not sure. Did police properly search the banks early on for Riley Strain? 9% yes, 74% no, 17% not sure. Please check out my last live stream. It's 4 hours, 22 minutes, 39 seconds. Very long, but it was a two-part live pertaining to Riley Strain yesterday, and also Sebastian Rogers, two-part live yesterday. 4 hours long. Chop it up at your convenience. It's well worth the watch. A lot of information in there, a lot of dialogue, a lot of comments from the chat. Let's get down to business, everybody. Riley, is the subject matter at hand. Let's see what they have to say. So I will be playing a lot of audio pertaining to his disappearance. And feel free, as I said, to hit the link in chat. It's at the top of the chat if you want to join the panel to give your opinion pertaining to the disappearance of this young man. And where is this case going? What is next? We will see.
Has been missing for 12 days now since disappearing from downtown Nashville.
Hold on one second, everybody. Thank you.
We're following breaking news as the search for Riley Strain intensifies this morning. The Cajun County Sheriff confirms the news too. They will be focusing efforts around the Cheatham Dam around noon today. The sheriff says this will be a basic shutdown. Strain has been missing for 12 days now since disappearing from downtown Nashville. We have a live look at the Cumberland River now here in Nashville, where the search has been stepped up this morning. We have a team of reporters covering the search at this hour. Staying here in Nashville, Metro Police are searching by water and in the air for that missing college student, Riley Strain. Here, News 2's Peyton Kennedy is live from Riverfront to explain what the search effort is looking like at this hour. Peyton.
Yeah, Nicole, this is the most official activity we have seen along the riverfront in about a week. I have seen 2 Metro Police Department boats on the water, as well as an Office of Emergency Management boat on the water. They have their investigators on those boats and along the riverfront here on the ground. Now, the boats on the water have been surveying up and down the river. They've also specifically been circling around the James Robertson Parkway bridge post that is closest to Gay Street. It's a very steep cliffside here that they had been looking up at. It's the last point that Riley's phone pinged before he went missing. The OEM says they're here at the request of the NMPD. I've seen OEM officials as well huddling around a map of the Cumberland River. I'm also told that there have been drones that will be used today. The police department tells me their efforts are a continuation of yesterday's work. They will also have helicopters and assistance from the Cajun County Sheriff's Office. And beyond that, I have seen multiple spectators this morning who have been walking up and down the riverfront, live streaming, taking photos and videos. And now another group is here. They're hanging up missing persons flyers for Riley. So we will keep you posted on this from all angles. In Nashville, Peyton Kennedy, News 2.
Thank you, Peyton. And the family of Riley Strain remains in Nashville talking with officials. And this morning we're learning about a significant meeting with the mayor. Allie Lynch is at the WKRN.com alert desk with more details now.
Well, Nicole, that's right. As of this morning, we know Riley's parents had a sit-down meeting with Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Now, what was discussed in that meeting, we're still working to find out. Riley's dad told News 2 they had a meeting with Mayor O'Connell sometime yesterday. The mayor's office released a statement saying, in part, the mayor invited Riley Strain's family to meet, but out of respect to Riley's family and their desire for privacy, the mayor's office will not be commenting on any discussions the mayor had with the family. Nicole?
Riley's family has also enlisted help from the United Cajun Navy to help them organize search parties. The group is made up of volunteers and usually responds to natural disasters across the country.
The people here in Nashville, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. If you see anything that might help us locate Riley, by all means, reach out to the United Cajun Navy or reach out preferably to the Nashville Police Department. And if you know anything about this, please come forward and say so.
At this time, police said there is still no evidence pointing to foul play. We'll continue to show you the newest video as police work to find Riley. You can see all of our continuing coverage at WKRN.com.
All right, everybody. WKRN News is the source. Growing support for Riley Strain. Amen. Same source, WKRN News. Hit the link. You have something you have to say, you want to say about this case, where it's going, what's odd, what's peculiar. What's your version? What do you believe? How do you feel about the TikToker, finding the card? How do you feel about how it got down there so close to the water? The water was higher, so that means the rocks were possibly covered with water 7 feet. Had heard 4 feet at first, now 7 feet. Don't know what's the truth, because right now I don't know the truth about anything pertaining to this case, quite frankly.
Riley Strain, a 22-year-old from Missouri who went missing while visiting Nashville nearly 2 weeks ago, is finding new ways to keep the investigation alive. Peyton Kennedy is live now along the Cumberland River in downtown Nashville, where much of the search efforts have been focused.
And this is where search efforts will continue to be focused. Riley Strain's family is now working with an outside agency to help bring him home. And the family tells us they've been very frustrated about how the Metro Nashville Police Department has handled this case so far and limited the involvement of outside agencies like the FBI and the TBI. They say they understand there's protocol, but that a fresh set of eyes means everything and has already led them to breakthroughs, including the discovery of Riley's bank card found by 2 women out scouring the area. So they are now working closely with the United Cajun Navy to organize volunteer-led searches, sending folks out in groups of 2 and 3.
You folks are going to be the ones potentially that break this case open. So keep on doing what you're doing. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. If you see something, say something.
So if you would like to get involved with the physical search, you can find details on the website. It's unitedcajunnavy.org. You can also donate financially there if you can't come out and join the physical search. Right now, I'm told they're focusing on gathering the supplies and equipment needed to go through the terrain and the embankment of the Cumberland River. Live in Nashville, Peyton Kennedy, News 2.
Stick with News 2 for all the breaking developments in this case. You can see all of our continuous coverage anytime at WKRN.com.
All right, second source, same news network, WKRN Channel 2 News. Thank you all so much for joining me. Well, this Cajun Navy, United Cajun Navy, has come up from Louisiana to aid in the search. Do you all believe that the police were not doing their job adequately? The sergeant has explained the protocol and the criteria for looking for a missing person, and they look for a whole body first. Not a card, not a debit card, not a watch, but the whole human. And actually, they said they looked in the area where his last ping was. We learned that last week. So many people, I'm sure, have so many questions, because I do. I am very baffled by the story, because what you thought you were seeing the first few videos was different than the last video of him walking by the cop, speaking to the cop. Naturally, he was walking toward the bridge. So did he go under that bridge, or did he take a side street somewhere to the left? I don't know. Were there other people on the street talking? Were there other people hanging out for there to be foul play, pushed him over? Because that whole area, is probably stretched for miles downtown by the river, different ways to enter the river, a walkway where you could be closer to it and just jump over the rail and jump in the water. Then you have up high where the sidewalk is, where he was walking. Did he meet foul play going under that bridge, tussle of some sort? He fell down, rolled into the water. Somehow the card came off his person, and then he floated downward and just hasn't floated back up. Don't know. But that video throws off a lot of questions about the bar, what happened in the bar, had a tab, didn't have a tab, escorted out, friend walks down, walks back up, don't know how long they stayed. I've gone over this 1,000 times. It's like you're talking to yourself at this point. Now we're hearing that he went to other bars, but they're not mentioning those bars. They're gathering evidence. So I'm asking all the pertinent questions. How many bars did he attend that evening? How many bars did he go to? Was he drunk when he entered Luke 32? We have all those questions. Once again, as I said in my commentary yesterday, I find it baffling that the father, the biological father, doesn't care to know about what happened in the bar, which makes no sense to me. Your child is missing and you don't want to know what happened in the bar. Why not? With this Cajun Navy, naturally they need donations. Feel free to donate to, I guess, their website. Also, call Crime Stoppers if you have any information. They need work gear, security gear, to make it safe for you, especially for those of you who are coming on your own. You need to be careful in trading near the river because it's dangerous terrain. And what I also found funny in looking at one of the videos today, there's a woman walking with another lady, and there's going around this wall, and she has on cowboy boots. And the first thing I thought is, are you all taking this serious? How are you going to search for somebody in that terrain in slippery cowboy boots? There's no way you're going to be able to scale down and look for anybody in that peripheral in cowboy boots. But this is what you have out here. That's why some people are questioning if some of these people are getting involved are genuine. People coming to search, the TikTokers. I find all that odd. Finding the car, the body floats up. It's not his. It belongs to another man. We haven't heard any information about him or what his identity, who he is. It's just a lot of questions about this case in general. And I'm sure the parents are just as baffled because at first what they were seeing, him being disoriented versus the last video where he's walking upright, doesn't seem to be falling over, didn't seem to be slurred speech, didn't ask for help, didn't ask the cop for help. The cop didn't say, hey, what's that on your shirt? You're bleeding, whatever. Nothing. And obviously the direction he was in was not in the direction of the hotel. He's just wandering around. So then you got to ask if he's can speak to the police and appear walking upright and straight, then why is he not at the hotel? Because if the 15 minutes it takes to go from Luke's bar to where he walked by the cop, it doesn't make any sense that he didn't go to his hotel. Because my understanding, the hotel, it was not in that direction. And I think by now we already know it's not. Because at the timeline, a 15-minute interval, at least give or take 15, 20 minutes, depending on what he was doing in between walking and not being seen on cameras, he could have been at his hotel. And I do believe he wanted to get out and bar hop some more. We get information that he tried another bar but was denied. So obviously he was drunk. But what has got people puzzled is the video of him walking by the cop where he doesn't seem to be staggering, falling over. And my thing is, if you are really, really drunk, I just don't see how you could just automatic try to straighten up because a cop, you're in the peripheral of a cop. And naturally, the cop had a flashlight out. He was looking at a truck that was broken into. You would have seen that flashlight down at the curb before you even got anywhere near the cop. And even if the cop was in plain clothes, you didn't see flashing lights on a vehicle, which I doubt. They weren't flashing, even if it was an unmarked car. Why would I even want to walk by a cop and I'm drunk? See, none of this makes any sense to me. But I understand that when people are drunk, they do stupid stuff. We also heard information the phone ping near a sheriff's office. That's odd. So then you have to say, well, I guess he wasn't aware of his faculties. He wasn't, I don't know, upset. I'm starting to wonder, with all the theories we have probably floating around, I'm wanting, how can I word this? I don't know if this is a hoax or not. I don't know if the child is unalive or not. But what came to me recently, today or last night, I said, chop up every option possible. And another option I came up was the one that I didn't want to even think about. Not just him being unalive or hurt by somebody or fell in the water by accident, which makes no sense to me how he would do that. Could it be this person came down off the alcohol and started feeling some type of way? Started thinking about his life, thinking about the world, thinking about the people who he was involved with, what happened at the bar. Perhaps he was humiliated, embarrassed, pissed off, started coming down on the liquor, walking around. His mind started twirling, and maybe he felt hopeless, helpless. Because the thing that nobody wants to acknowledge in this story, which is baffling to me, is the obvious. You don't know him. You don't know him. You don't know his mindset. For all we know, he was coming down off of alcohol. He was feeling some type of way. I won't doubt he was feeling some type of way when he left that bar. In his feelings, upset, pissed off, embarrassed, friends still partying, and now here I am trying to find another place to drink because I don't want to call it a night. And I get that. But he obviously was drunk because he didn't even get into second place, allegedly. Did this guy kill himself? Did that ever occur to anybody in the chat? That he got so down because alcohol will make you do weird stuff. And a lot of people have taken their lives while inebriated. I'm sure there's probably a high percentage of people who took their lives under the influence of narcotics or alcohol. And alcohol can put you in a really bad way, tailspin. 1 minute you're up, you're happy, you're laughing. The next minute you're coming down. You start thinking about things, you start crying, you're angry, but you were feeling fine earlier. Could this be the case that he walked a little ways under the bridge? Because I'm sure this bridge goes for miles. I mean, this river, excuse me. And perhaps he took his own life. Jumped in the water somewhere, walked down to the water, however, and just jumped in. Or jumped off the bridge. I don't know. Because so far, a body hasn't surfaced. And you would think by now, going into week 2, a body would have surfaced by now. Don't think he's downtown anywhere. Because he's too big to hide. He's not your average size person. He's not a toddler. He's not even 5 feet. He's, almost 7 feet tall. So you've got to use deduction as far as somebody hurting him, unaliving him downtown. As the sergeant said, we searched places according to the pings and general area because that's all we had at that time. So I understand the parents are upset because this is their child, but you do have to use common sense. They're not going to be looking for minuscule items. They're trying to find the whole person. Now, a card has been found. Naturally, you're going to go back to that area and look to see if you can see any other evidentiary material. But if you didn't know he went in the river or belongings made it to the river, then you're just not going to directly go look at the river. Now, my understanding, they've been down there. Did they overlook this card? Did they ever go to that direct location? See, I don't know. What is strange, the card seems clean. And I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of theories about how the card got there. But one theory I know that doesn't make sense, he wasn't walking around with his card in his hand. Why would you do that when you have a pocket on your shirt and pockets in your jeans? He wore cowboy boots. He could have put his wallet in there. He could have put his card in there. It makes no sense. I'm starting to wonder if he walked around that area because, one, he did not want to go back in. He was feeling some type of way. Just wanted to walk and think. And maybe he became depressed. Because as I said, alcohol is a downer. At some point, people come down from alcohol and they start thinking all type of crazy things about their life, this and that. And that's the thing to the story. You don't really know what his mindset was on the trip. You're just hearing people say he's a nice guy, he's friendly, he's this, he smiled a lot. That's not the whole Riley strain, as it would be with any human being. Just because you see people smiling today does not mean they don't get depressed, they don't get down, they don't get frustrated, they don't get heated. Did he kill himself? And the body just has not floated up. Did he walk past the downtown area? See, we don't know because we don't have any more footage. Hopefully other businesses in the general area and across from the river, the barges over there, will give some CCTV footage to see if the child rolled down one of the embankments, pushed down a tanglement, scuffle, something, and you could see a person going in the water in the dark. That's really all you have right now. And then you've got versions, of course. I don't know what's the truth, quite frankly. I have no idea. I mean, I'm utterly confused about what is going on. All right, so we got the Cajun Navy searching, growing support for this young man. And now we're going to talk about the people volunteering to help search for him. Thank you for joining me. WSMV4 is the source of this information.
From the United Cajun Navy, as Maria just mentioned, with a warning for people headed out to join the search themselves.
Our Sharon Danquist talked to them, as well as volunteer searchers, to see what's the best way to help.
This is where people are searching. It's the embankment near Riley's last known location on Gay Street. And here's the danger. If you look down here, you can see how steep and overgrown this area is. It's why officials are sending out a long list of warnings for people trying to help. There are the skilled.
We have several watercraft, ones here and a couple of them on the way that we're going to use on the river and see if we can find anything there.
And the unskilled.
They're like, hey, we're not doing anything. More eyes, more boots on the ground.
A combined effort going on since March 8th. the night 22-year-old Riley Strain went missing. It's an effort that led to these two women finding Riley's debit card after over a week of police searching. Now, Riley's family has asked David Flagg and the United Cajun Navy to join the search, but they're running into issues.
That bank is treacherous. I mean, it's better than a 45-degree angle, strewn with loose rock, big loose rock, tremendous amount of trash and debris, limbs that have fallen off the trees, roots everywhere.
So he's warning people that have come out to help of the dangers that could lead to them putting themselves at risk instead of helping.
If they are dead set on doing so, sturdy shoes, hiking shoes of some sort, heavy gloves, rubber or nitrile gloves underneath.
And that's exactly what Presley Brown and her mother are doing.
Sorry about that.
Gloves, we have like one of those grabber things, brought some plastic bags just in case you find anything, because you never know what might happen.
To stay out of the danger, some people are putting up posters and others searching with drones, scouring the area while people like Presley search in pairs and groups.
These don't just vanish, people don't just vanish. Something had to have happened, and I don't know, somewhere.
Now, if you're going to head out and help look, Flagg says please contact the United Cajun Navy and do it with them safely. For WSMV4, I'm Sharon Banqua. Right.
All right, everybody. Third source. So if you're going to go help, make sure you are prepared because it's bad terrain, even in daylight. Definitely don't want anybody hurt. Trying to find Mr. Strain or any type of evidentiary material. And then some would say, is it a good idea to have strangers down there? You might be stepping and trampling on something important. Where's his wallet? You got a credit card, just poof, voila, shows up a week later near the water. And then you got to ask yourself, well, where's his wallet? Leslie had a blue wallet. And, Hagen, who's one of my commenters, she mentioned that yesterday during the live. Well, how did they know it was blue when the TikTokers mentioned he had a blue wallet? I said, well, maybe one of the family members told them that the wallet was blue. So you have to ask all the pertinent questions because you can't just let people talk and then you don't inquire about what they're saying and where they got the knowledge. And I didn't see the girl actually pick up the show where the card was. Okay. You have somebody saying, oh, I found the card. And then the girl runs over or whatever, and or the camera stops because she's telling the people, I guess, who's listening on the live feed, she's got to go. But I didn't see her pick it up. It's not like the girl was following her, panning her with her camera and showed the actual place where she picked it up. Just a picture of it. I don't know. Just something's off to me about this. And I'm not trying to accuse anybody of any improprieties, but I don't understand why it's not filmed. Or is it? I don't know. Because he starts the video off, the girl's following her with her camera. And the girl's in front of her, stepping down on that ledge. And then the next thing you know, they're down near the rocks. And one of them finds the card. But I don't see it filmed. So like to me, you would have took your camera out. Both of you would have had your cameras out. And the one who found it would have had their camera to show, oh, here it is. And you can see it in live time. This is where I'm confused. There's just really too much going on. And I understand it's always going to be strange, the information, because you don't know really what happened to him. Just pulling up all sources pertaining to this story. Got a lot of videos. Nancy Grace has done a rendition, and that rendition was just too dramatic for my taste. I was like, Nancy, please stop it. Let's retrace the steps of this missing Mizzou student, Riley Strain. It's just a lot of BS. I don't know. I don't know what to think at this point. It's just baffling to me. Well, I think that it was down on the rocks further, closest to the water, not in the trash, but near the rocks, which is closer to the water. And remember, that would have been covered up.
Are important, and security cameras and critical witnesses, all that's invaluable. But to really understand the last known wanderings of a college student who hasn't been seen or heard from in 11 days. You have to be there. And my colleague, Evan Lambert, is live in Nashville tonight. He spent part of the day retracing Riley Strain's steps. Evan, I'm so glad you're doing this because even with the maps, I get confused. Can you walk me through Riley's path?
Yeah, Ashley, with those several data points on the map, it is confusing, especially if you don't know the area. And so we did spend a good part of the day walking around. And what I can tell you from the area here by the river where we are, where Riley Strain was last seen, to really where the story starts at the first bar that he was asked to leave. It's really only about a 15-minute or so walk if you're walking directly. Of course, we don't know the exact route he took because we have little pieces on surveillance video, but it is not terribly far away. But we took a look at all of those points a little bit earlier. Check it out. 9:35 on the night, Riley Strain goes missing. According to Luke Bryan's bar here on the corner of Broadway and 3rd, he was asked to leave after being served 1 alcoholic drink and 2 waters. Then 11 minutes later, a surveillance camera at downtown Smoke Shop catches Strain running and then falling near a pole in the parking lot. He gets up and continues out of the frame. A minute later, another camera catches him cross 1st Avenue North to Gay Street. At this point, he's less than half a mile from Broadway. And finally, our last pictures of Strain are here. Body camera video catches him interacting with a Metro Nashville police officer and appearing to be fine.
How you doing, sir? Good, how are you? Good.
This is just across from the Cumberland River, and take a look at how steep this is in this area. It's basically a cliff, some 30-40 feet down to the water's edge. This whole area is covered with litter, debris, trash, homeless encampments. This is where TikTokers say they found Strain's debit card. It is nowhere near, about a half mile away from his hotel, which is off in that direction, nowhere near where he's seen walking and his last cell phone pings are. And so it's very clear, Ashley, where the last pictures and the last cell phone pings are. Riley was not anywhere in the direction of the hotel that his friends thought he was going to make it to. Ashley?
Well, I'm glad that was said because somebody wanted to say yesterday or the day before in chat that he was near the hotel. No, he wasn't. They're retracing his steps, and the hotel was about allegedly 15 minutes or so from the Luke's place. He's all the way up near the river. The Hilton is behind or over from the river, which would be to the left of the river. So how was he near the river? How was he near the Hilton? Because he wasn't. All this is bizarre to me. I don't really know what the hell's going on.
Okay. Evan, I have just one question for you. In that last part of your stand-up, you're standing under a bridge, right? And that's typically where a lot of people would congregate because there's shelter. So there's a lot of homeless people who use, areas under bridges. Was it a walkway though? Like I was struggling to find out, would Riley have ended up walking under that bridge, or would he have had to decide to leave a walkway, scramble down to some people down there to have a chat? Like how would he have ended up in that spot if he was?
Yeah, so where we are, there is a sidewalk that goes around, and there's a balustrade, and then essentially a cliff, as I showed before, 30, 40 feet down to the riverbank. Now, there are a couple other areas of land a little bit over that guardrail, so maybe 15 feet down, there's some land, and then you can walk further down, but it's not designed really for people to go down there, but some people do, and that's where some of the people that are experiencing homelessness, that's where their encampments are, in those woods, just over the guardrail. So you would have to be very intentional, or just, really not having coordination at all, inebriated to the point where, you might be sitting up and potentially fall, and then possibly, roll down even further. But it is really a dramatic, when I got here, I didn't understand, just how far it is from where we are standing, where Riley was walking in that body camera video, to the river embankment all the way down. And it's almost like you really have to try, but there is a way that if you were so inebriated that, we saw him falling, it is possible that he fell and continued to go down that direction. Under the bridge, there is another bridge that he would have potentially crossed underneath after that video, but that's just along this sidewalk right here. So you're not, no stairs or anything to get down there.
It's mysterious. I mean, just perplexing. Evan Lambert, thank you for that. Just want to let our audience know it's 20 minutes, like less than 20 minutes from the moment he left that bar to where his cell phone, went out. He disappeared in less than 20 minutes.
So less than 20 minutes out of sight. That doesn't mean he wasn't still walking. You just don't have video to show altercation, getting in a car, jumping over a rail, falling over a rail. You don't, because see, all of that strip on the sidewalk is not made the same. One place, they might have rails, then one further down, it's just a complete drop off. It looks like marshy bushes, and then you could just roll on over down much easier than farther back where the cop was. Farther back where the cop is, there's the rail, there's, trees, branches that could break your fall. So he could have fought right there where the cop was, cop left. I don't really know what the hell's going on. Because if we're going to say he fell in the water, you've got to show where he entered. Because that's a long sidewalk. And I'm sure this river stretches for miles. So he's walking. You don't know where he could have walked into the water, fell in the water, pushed in the water. Because it's not like it's a couple of feet. It's a long ass sidewalk. Don't even know how long that goes under the bridges. It's just, I don't know what the hell we're hearing.
If you have information about Riley's disappearance, I'll say it again. Call the Metro Nashville Police Department, 615-862-8600. But then I'm going to give you a backup because that doesn't seem to be working for a lot of people who are calling with tips. Right there, FanfieldTips@newsnationnow.com. Drop us a line, FanfieldTips@newsnationnow.com. Call the police first at that number I gave you, 615-862-8600. But then back it up and let us know. And we will once again do our best to put the pressure on the Nashville Police to call people back. Thank you for watching.
Well, that's Banfield, everybody. News Nation. Also, new information about, oh, Lord. What was I trying to say? Cold case. Let's play that. Maybe the phone lines are messed up. Maybe they don't have people to answer the phones, Miss Banfield. Maybe the police know more than what they're telling us. I don't know. Let's hear this. News Nation is the source of this information. Lord have mercy, it's getting worse.
Why does it seem to be so hard to report relevant, credible tips about Riley's disappearance to the Nashville Police Department? Multiple witnesses, including Riley's family, have said that their phone calls go straight to voicemail for the cold case unit. One of those witnesses is Sabrina Martin. She works with an organization called Souls United that helps the homeless. And she says she saw someone wearing a distinctive shirt just like Riley's 2 days after Riley disappeared. And yet getting the police to take her report was like pulling teeth. Sabrina Martin joins me now again. Sabrina, this is, I think, now the third time that we'll have spoken. I asked you last time if you had a call back from the police, and now we're at day 11. I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going to cross my fingers. You're going to say, yes, they called you back and taken the detailed report that you gave us on this program, including the description of the homeless man that you saw wearing what looked like Riley's shirt. Have you heard from the police yet?
I have not heard from them yet.
It's astounding to me, and I know you made multiple attempts after being shuffled into voicemail. You went and circumvented Nashville Police, you called Crime Stoppers, and you were at least able to give the report. What's your next move? Are you going to keep trying? Are you going to go and bang down their doors at headquarters?
I'm hoping that by getting this out, that they will follow up. I have emailed local news stations.
This is where I have a problem with this information here. If you live in Nashville, you live around Nashville, why would you keep calling and sending messages and emails? Help me understand. Why don't you just get up and go walk into the police station and say, I'm here to give information into the Riley Strain case. I need to speak with a detective immediate, please. That's how you do that. Because I've learned now, as of late, in dealing with apps and more apps and 1-800 numbers, you've got to go in places directly. Now, some things we deal with, we don't have anyone we can talk to. We don't have, you don't get a person on the phone, let's say. In this situation here, if you live in a general area, why are you going to keep calling the damn number? Like I said, for all we know, they don't have anybody to man the phone, actually answer. When you start talking about tips and you want to speak to somebody, you actually have to have somebody with 2 feet and 2 hands to sit at a desk and answer the phone. If they don't have it set up like that, then that's all you're going to get is a voicemail. Leave your tip. No different if you were calling about any other type of situation, a news story. There's not going to always be somebody that can answer the phone to take your tip at the moment you dial the number. So I don't want to just yet say they're not doing their job. But you talking to Banfield 3 times, going on social media talking, that makes no sense to me. This makes no sense to me. I email, I call. Well, if you can't get through, why can't you just go to the station or go to any precinct local near you? Oh, I don't know how many precincts they have in Nashville, but my goodness, this makes no sense to me that you wouldn't go get off your butt and walk in, but you can find Banfield to talk and give her this information and show your face on a damn panel. See, it's just like what somebody just said in one of the videos. You have to start wondering about the people who immerse themselves in the case. And this would be one of those people. You're going to tell me that you're just going to keep calling, leaving a message. When you live in an area and you can just walk in. I would have walked my ass in. Not calling Crime Stoppers, not doing none of that. I thought I saw that shirt on a homeless person. I'm going to go into the cops and talk to him directly. Now, about the shirt. For all we know, somebody gave that homeless man a shirt and it wasn't Riley or stolen or whatever. Everything's mass produced. Every shirt, shoe, picture, curtain, whatever. And Hagen says that same shirt is on what? Amazon? So it's easily accessible to buy the same shirt. I think she said it's by Millennial or Millennium Company or something. So how do we know somebody wasn't passing out clothes? And that shirt just happened to be some shirts somebody ordered offline or from a liquidated store and handed it to him. I don't know. You'd be shocked if you found out he gave him the damn shirt. How about that? Let's say the homeless man was wearing his shirt. Now you got to ask yourself how he got the shirt. So you saw him what? Lying down on the ground somewhere, and you took the shirt off of him and put it on yourself. Now, where's that homeless man? And if he indeed had the shirt, has he gotten rid of it? Well, I better take this shirt off because people are talking about me on the news. I better take this shirt off. Or does the homeless person even know the story and still walking around with the shirt on? Strange. It's all bizarre.
As well as the police station. I searched multiple posts. So the first post I saw was from a local news station with the telephone number. And I called, which was our non-emergency number, and they transferred me to a voicemail. After leaving a voicemail, I called a different number that the lady had given me in case I was disconnected, which went straight to another voicemail box. The next day I went searching I live about an hour away.
Okay, so she said she lives about an hour away, but she was helping the homeless there. So Maybe she didn't want to drive to Nashville. But as far as taking a picture, Tay, that was already asked of her. You're not going to take a picture because you don't know that somebody's missing. She asked some other people about the shirt or made a comment, I guess, about it because it looked too clean versus the dirty clothes he had on. But that's the point. I'm not going to take a picture of a random homeless person. She just jogged her memory back once they showed Riley missing, show what he had on, and then allegedly that came back to her memory. Oh, I just saw a homeless guy we were help feeding had on a shirt similar to that, and it was clean, and I thought it was odd. But see, we don't know if this is the truth or not. We don't know if the man had on a shirt that really belonged to him. We don't know if a man was just walking around with a shirt that somebody else could have given him. There are places you can get free clothes, all type of things. That he could have got it from a pantry, clothing pantry, or somebody was handing out shirts free, and it was 10, 15 of the same shirts in different sizes. See, you don't know. Because a lot of companies are liquidated now, and they have an abundance of stuff, makeup, shoes, clothes, because I've seen it. You go into thrift stores, people are donating that stuff. You might have 15 shirts in a bag. All might be medium, all might be large, might have different sizes. So that's what I'm saying. Who's to say he didn't get that shirt from somebody else? We don't know. But this lady told me she lived an hour away. I still would have tried to drive back once I heard the story and once I saw him in that shirt.
So I went searching the next day on another social media post and then found the Crime Stoppers line. That lady did seem to take me seriously. She did take all of the information, but I have not heard anything back. She didn't seem to be aware of Riley's case when I first spoke to her. I did have to spell his name, give her the date he was missing. I read it directly off of the post that I got the phone number from, but she did get all of the information. I did leave my name and telephone number on 2 voicemails as well as.
Tay, listen. Now, don't y'all start no mess in that chat. She was allegedly helping the homeless when she saw the man with the shirt. She did not know anything about Riley missing. It wasn't until she heard the story, saw the story, and then realized, oh, I just saw somebody in that shirt. And she happens to live an hour away from Nashville. So obviously she drove up to do this food service for the homeless or whatever, however it goes. But when she saw the shirt, she didn't know anything about Riley.
Crime Stoppers, even though it was anonymous, I gave my name and phone number and still haven't heard back.
It's making. Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
What is interesting about this video is at the bottom of the screen, while she's talking to this lady on a split screen, it says that he visited 3 bars. What in the world is that about? He visited 3 bars. Hello, everybody in the chat. So this goes back to what I was saying before. How many bars did they go to? Did they drink that day? What time did they get to Nashville? So you got to ask all those questions. When did they get to Nashville? How did they get to Nashville? How did they get to the bar? How many bars did they go to? How many drinks did they have? So obviously he was probably loaded when he went to Luke 32. 3 bars. So I'm assuming Luke 32 was the 3rd bar for him. Now, what they did when they left Luke 32, the group he was with, I don't know. And that hasn't been verified to the public. So will we hear that the guys either went directly home, got something to eat, or went to another bar? See, we don't even know what time they left Luke 32, the group that stayed behind. And allegedly there was another group of fraternity brothers that were at another bar. So what is the truth? You also got information that he tried to go to another bar after Luke 32, but he was denied entry. Naturally, denied because I guess he was falling all over himself, like what you saw in the videos of him, staggering on the street. I don't know. Hello, Hagen. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault XL. A lot of information. That information is about News Nation. So you see she's getting a little perturbed because nobody's called the woman back. Well, is somebody going to call her back? Because we're days into this story. We're almost at 2 weeks. Friday evening. It'll be 2 whole weeks. He allegedly went missing out of Nashville, Tennessee. And I understand that she lived an hour away, why she wouldn't be readily going into the police station. I thought she lived like in the Nashville area. So this is all crazy nonsense right now. Press conference yesterday pertaining to the disappearance of this young man. United Cajun Navy here from Louisiana helping to find him. You are welcome to help search if you want to travel to Nashville or you live in the Nashville area. They're buying accessories for people to use. You are welcome to go help if you want to. You're also welcome to donate to the Parents GoFundMe because naturally they need money to stay in Nashville, to eat, so on and so forth. I brought you a lot of information pertaining to this story. It's a very scary situation here. I'm trying to make sure I'm showing everything pertaining to this case. Parents want answers pertaining to their son. WSMV4 is the source.
Riley Strain's parents say they are frustrated with Metro Police.
It's now been 11 days since the 22-year-old college student disappeared in downtown Nashville. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Marius Payton.
And I'm Lauren Lowry. Riley has been missing since March 8th, and officers have struggled to find any sign of what happened to him.
WSMV's Brendan Tierney is live downtown tonight with the latest on the search effort. Brendan.
Marius and Lauren, Metro Police's boat just went past us once again as they're searching out here along the river today as Riley's parents are bringing in their own resources. An emotional plea for help finding their son.
He's my best friend. It's everything.
Michelle and Chris Whited have seen all of the evidence Metro Police have about what happened to Riley, but officers still haven't found him with the days dragging on.
We are frustrated. We know they're doing their job.
So they've asked a nonprofit group, United Cajun Navy, to bring in 2 boats to search along the Cumberland for more clues.
We feel that we need the extra resources to come in and help us.
That is, Metro Police are once again combing through the area Riley was last seen. They cleared the riverbanks last Thursday, but then TikTok influencers found Riley's bank card here over the weekend.
We're not looking for small pieces of evidence. Can we miss some things? Sure. But our primary goal is to find Mr. Strain and bring him home safely.
People have been flocking to the riverbank trying to help, but both police and United Cajun Navy leaders say people should not be searching on their own.
You know, we don't know what's going on with you. It's not safe. It's real dangerous.
With a commitment to keep following up on tips and expanding the search area until Riley's found.
This is not going away. It's not going away anytime soon.
As the search for Riley is focused here along the river, the TABC is investigating down on Broadway to see if any bars overserved Riley and broke the law. A TABC spokesperson telling me tonight that every bar Riley went to is cooperating with them, but they're not releasing exactly what bars that was.
So will they release the bars? And will we also get a release of each party going into the bar? How they were behaving and the times they exit. Times in, behavior inside, and times of exiting out each bar, including Luke 32. Will we get a visual of Luke 32? Him entering. Will it show him staggering, drunk, being served anyway, whether it's 1 drink, 4 drinks? He was served. T sent me an article through X today about the tab situation. And what's interesting about that information, News 17, Fox, I think 17, is that they said, oh, he was overserved, so we stopped giving him alcohol or something. And he was trying to close his tab. I don't understand any of that either. So now that word is overserved before we even started hearing the word overserved and the commission being involved, which was last Thursday when the commission got involved, if I'm not mistaken, the alcohol commission. So that's a strange word to use. He was overserved. We overserved him, so we cut him off. Told him he had to leave. He didn't have a tab. What did I tell you before? We already know that they went somewhere before Luke 32. Don't know how many places, but now it's a total of 3 places total, allegedly. I refuse to believe he wasn't drunk when he walked in. So basically, if you only served him 1 drink, then that means he was already drunk when he got there. What is it about the people talking on behalf of Luke 32 don't understand about their own statement? Because it seems like to me you all don't even understand what you're actually saying. We overserved him, so we told him he had to go. Well, that means he was already drunk when he got there. Now, the Godfather says they were there for 1 hour and 45 minutes before he got kicked out. So I'm going to say it again. He was either drunk when he got there, or you all aren't telling the truth about how many drinks he drank. But if he went to 3 bars, including Luke 32, that was bar number 3, you know damn well he probably was drunk or buzzed when he walked in that bar. So you knew he was drunk when you gave him drink number 1 and the 2 waters. Will there be a violation against the bar? It is a Class A misdemeanor, I heard on the news today. So will they be cited? Will they ask for footage? Of course they will. Will they provide the footage? Or will we hear that they lost it, they can't find it? What will his bank record show pertaining to Luke 32 and how many drinks he bought if he used a debit card? What else will his bank statement show pertaining to any of his bank cards? Does he have a Cash App or a PayPal? Where is his wallet? What all cards did he take with him? How much cash did he take with him? How much cash did he have on him? Or did he just use a card? And are we seeing what we think we're seeing? Because at this point, I don't really know what I have witnessed the past couple days with these videos. So this is how it's going to go. He's either unalive, discarded in the water, fell in the water, jumped in the water, killed himself, jumped in the water, got in somebody's car, met somebody, met foul play, discarded somewhere. But I don't believe he's downtown. If he's downtown, then that means there's more than 1 person involved. And they have carried him somewhere and obscured him, which would be very strange due to his height. And then 2, even at night, how are you going to just carry a body around that big without somebody seeing you? So perhaps he's not even in the downtown area. Perhaps he's not even in that damn river. Upstream, downstream, nowhere. Where is Riley Strain? This is a very bizarre case. Let's get a timeline of this case, everybody. Once again, Cajun Navy in Nashville to help take care, help with searches. You're welcome to help search if you like, but be mindful of the terrain. I just have a bad feeling about the case itself. I don't feel comfortable with the people immersing themselves in the case. I just don't feel comfortable with anything that I've heard. I don't understand the bio father's notion of not wanting to know what happened in the bar. He only wants to stick to where he went afterwards. Well, we don't know where he went. The police don't know where he went. If they do, they're not saying. WSMB4 Nashville is my last source pertaining to this case. Thank you for joining me. Exactly. He was intoxicated.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Amanda Hera, and this is Jordan James and Brendan Tierney. And we're starting a new show here on WSMB that you can watch on our live stream. that's called Behind the Story. And so every week we're going to try and talk to the reporters who have been covering the big story for their take on what's happening behind the scenes and just to take a deeper dive. So insight and context you wouldn't normally get from their quick reports that we run during the newscast. So today we are focusing on the continued search for Riley Strain, and Brendan and Jordan have both played pretty instrumental roles in the newsroom covering the search for him. And so we want to start a little bit with the timeline here. I mean, Brendan, you've kind of been on this from day one. What day are we stretching into now? Because March 8th is when he disappeared.
Yeah, today is now day 12 of that search effort. Riley, he disappeared on March 8th at about 10 p.m. was that last sighting Metro Police had of him, but they didn't report him missing until the Saturday at about 1:40 in the afternoon. So there's a bit of a different timeline here of the search effort between when he was last seen versus when Metro Police actually started that search effort for Riley. But it's just been such an awful process, especially for his family involved in all this, just looking for answers.
And you've been covering this, especially for the morning show for us, Jordan. How have you seen the search evolve from day one to here? What's changed about it?
So initially it was just his mom and dad, stepdad, so immediate family were out there trying to canvass along the Cumberland River. But in the coming days, as a result of this case starting to generate a lot of national attention, a lot of folks from social media, TikTok, have gone out there to try to take measures into their own hands. And we learned on yesterday that the Cajun Navy is now involved. So the Cajun Navy is out there on top of Metro Police and the Office of Emergency Management. So they're focusing specifically on the area around the Cumberland River as a result, because that was the last place that he was seen on camera, which has led to this mystery about where is he at.
And this is some of that video of that, the last piece of video that we've been able to find that captures him on camera. We were just showing it to you there. It's an interaction between Riley Strain and an officer. And by all accounts, it seems very casual, very normal, and very different from some of these other videos we've seen earlier in the night where he's just kind of stumbling down the road.
And that's why Metro Police say they put out that body camera video finally, is because they
and
say
this is
that
it right
in
here.
this video right here, you're able to see Riley. He'll be on the left part of the screen as he walks by the officer. He's highlighted there. They say that he doesn't look like he's in distress. They told us that he's walking normally and had a very brief just hello, hi, how are you doing type of conversation with that Metro Police officer who didn't think anything was up. And that's part of the reason Metro Police say at this point, Amanda, it appears that there's no foul play involved, because it doesn't look like anything bad was happening to Riley.
Right. And they also went on to say, there have been so many people chattering on social media about, well, he was running. It looked like he was running away from something in that other video. And so police said, part of the reason we shared this piece of video is to show you that when our officer saw him, nobody was chasing him. There didn't seem to be any foul interaction with anybody else. He looked perfectly fine by all accounts from that Metro officer. One of the things that we had talked about before we went live with you all just now is, what are some of the biggest takeaways about the story? And I think all of us can agree that this has garnered national attention. And that means a lot of people are coming into Nashville to try to help with the search. And, it's not just social media influencers. It's just regular people who live here. And one of the discoveries, Jordan, was pretty instrumental for this investigation.
Yes, that's right. Two women from TikTok. Like I said, they took measures into their own hand and they canvassed the area around the Cumberland River and went out to the embankment area. And they were actually live streaming at the time when they looked down and they found Riley's bank card. At the time, there had been no type of physical evidence. We knew that he was last seen near the Cumberland River, but police said on yesterday, as of now, that's the only physical evidence that we have. And something that stood out to me when we interviewed those women, they said something had to be found. And that's one of the reasons why they went out there, because they wanted to try to help out with this investigation somehow.
Yeah, let's hear from them directly.
Brief intermission. Did he kill himself? That's the poll I'm posting to my community board. Feel free to take the poll and the other polls on my channel. Thank you for joining me.
Doing the best they can.
Doing the best they can.
Resources they have.
Yeah, that they're understaffed. But that doesn't mean that we don't need more help. And right now it's extremely important for us to keep Riley out there, Riley's face, Riley's name, Riley's family. We really want to emphasize this on Riley.
So another big piece of the story that's unfolding now is the focus on other bars downtown. The TABC coming out and saying, all right, you know what? We've already checked in with Luke Bryan's bar. That's part of the investigation. That's where he was kicked out of. He had a beer there and 2 waters. Where else was he served alcohol that night before he was kicked out of the bar? And does that play into the investigation?
And that's something we pressed Metro Police about yesterday at the press conference. They weren't willing to tell us what other bars Riley was at. They simply said that they're going to eventually go back and review all that video that they have collected of where he was. Metro Police want to instead focus on from the last point he was seen going forward. But we know there are other bars involved. A TABC spokesperson yesterday told me that every other bar that they have talked with is cooperating with this investigation. They're not sure exactly how long it will take for this investigation to wrap up, but they do intend on sharing the copy of that final investigation report with us once it is finally published. Just no timeline on exactly when that would happen. There's a Class A misdemeanor possible for any bar that overserves someone in the state of Tennessee. That's why this has been brought forward as a TABC investigation.
And something that stood out to me, his mom kind of gave us some perspective about how his fraternity brothers are taking it. She said they are just as heartbroken as we are. You know, up at this point in time, we haven't heard much from them. But
are they heartbroken? We haven't heard from them. I also posted to the community page. Did they hire lawyers? Any of the men, fraternity brothers? How many were in that bar? Were they drunk as well? Did they go bar hop after they left out of there? What was the conversation between the friend and Riley going down the stairs in the bar? What? You're not hearing anything. I'd want to clear it up, quite frankly. I'm tired of hearing this secondhand BS of who felt what. I don't know how they feel because I haven't heard from them. And you all are just glazing over the bar hopping, what was about, who said what to whom. You're never going to know because they never want to tell anybody. They do not want to tell that publicly. What they saw in the bar, what they experienced, what was said to him. Because see, this is why I keep trying to tell people. You don't know the boy. You don't know his mindset. You understand what I'm saying? People get down when they drink alcohol. It's a downer. This is why a lot of people do stupid stuff when they've been drinking, and also they have unalived themselves while drinking. For all you know, he became depressed while drinking. He became down. That's why he's walking in the opposite direction. Not just if he fell and hurt himself. We don't even have verification of that. You just saw him fall. But you don't really know he hit his head right there in that wall, that cylinder block or the pole. Could have just scraped himself up, face up. I don't know. But the police didn't see anything strange. He's standing right there by him. You can see if somebody's face is scratched up or look like they've been in a fight. Hey, sir, what's up? You look kind of roughed up. You having a bad night? What happened? And the police would be vigilant, I would assume, because you're sitting here looking at a truck with a back window smashed out. So I think I'd be watching everything going on, looking at everybody walking by, what they got on, backpack, travel bag, because that's your job. But how do we know he didn't go kill himself? Got upset, pissed off about what happened that night, felt alone, felt betrayed. See, you don't know because you don't know him. Since everybody wants to keep dwelling on the river. How do you know he didn't go jump in the damn river? Walk some ways down, found an entry into the river and jumped in there, just gave up because you don't know him. You don't even know if he was depressed before he went on a trip. Became depressed that night with all that shit going on. Trying to go here, go there, not being able to get in. Mel felt like a loser. You don't know because you don't know him. So maybe somebody should be asking that question. Is he prone to depression? Has he ever been treated for depression? Just because he doesn't have a criminal record and hasn't been in trouble doesn't mean he didn't have anxieties, PTSD, bipolar. You don't know because you don't know him. Because that's the one thing in the story you're not hearing. But what about the days when he's not happy? What about the days when he's not feeling well? How does he act? How does he behave? Does he cut people off? Not answer his phone? Don't answer his door? Don't go to work? Just curious.
She said they were taking his heart and, they were trying to share Riley's image and try to continue to garner more support in order to try to bring him home.
I think bottom line, we know that this has been so distressing for family and friends. We heard from the parents just yesterday.
I mean, they're heartbroken also. He's their best friend. And we love these boys like our own. And it's just as hard on them as it is on us.
And right now, we really are focusing on
bringing Riley home.
his last point.
He's my best friend. He's everything.
You know, there have been questions, again, chatter on social media, people asking questions, and of course we take that to police or the appropriate person for answers. And one of the questions is, okay, well, if police are doing this big massive search, why didn't they find the debit card that was, you know, on the banks of the Cumberland River? And we heard from the family yesterday, you know, they're frustrated, but they also have confidence in what police are doing.
Yeah, I asked his stepfather, Chris, specifically about that during the press conference yesterday. He said that they feel like they've been left in the dark a little bit during this investigation, but they understand that because as police are investigating something, there's information they can't always share out there. When Metro Police were asked about that yesterday, they talked a lot about how they can't put information out there because it might end up being a criminal investigation down the line. They couldn't possibly risk that investigation, risk a prosecution, probable cause if they were to bring charges in the future. At this point, still saying no foul play involved. They're expecting it to just be a missing persons case, but they don't want to put too much information out there. Family says they very much trust in police right now, but there's a lot of chatter on social media about this, and that's a big thing that police even addressed yesterday.
It almost seems to be like this convergence between volunteers and police have the training and the understanding of how you attack an investigation, and then volunteers may not necessarily understand that, or their viewpoint may not align with that. And so one of the big questions was, well, why did it take volunteers to find the debit card? And we had some interesting perspective from police about what their priority is in that search.
Think of it like a large crime scene. A lot of times you have to deal with the victims first before you can go back and start looking for those precise pieces of evidence. Okay, that's kind of our focus here. We're looking for Mr. Strain, then we go back and look again.
And so that was a question you asked specifically to get that answer, Brendan.
Yeah, in Metro Police, we were asking those questions because there's a lot of people just up in arms. How did two TikTokers find his debit card along the banks of the river in an area that last week Metro Police said was cleared, and they didn't plan on searching it again with that urban search and rescue crew? They say that when they're out there searching, they're not looking for a small piece of evidence like a debit card. In a missing persons case, they're looking for a body, they're looking for clothing, they're looking for any very physical sign of Riley, and then they'll go back and trace those smaller pieces of evidence from there.
And as they explained it to us, Jordan, I mean, it wasn't super easy for the TikTokers to find this. I think they were live streaming this on TikTok or social media, right?
Yes.
It wasn't easy for them to discover either. And they kind of shared how they essentially stumbled upon this debit card.
There is so much trash down there, and it's so much to sift through. There are some pieces of clothing, shoes, bottles, cans, everything. I don't really know how we found it. I would love to see it. I just don't love divine intervention. It was just sitting there.
Did they get in a fight at the bar? Nobody wants to tell the truth. Disagreement. He's acting overt, too chummy with people, causing a scene. I don't know. I have no idea. Anything's possible.
Is expanding by this national organization that typically responds to disasters, and you've learned a lot about them.
Yes, so they are from Louisiana, and typically they go to places that experience natural disasters like tornadoes and hurricanes, but the director had said they felt compelled to come out here after hearing about Riley's story. So in some sense, they wanted to have some organization in terms of the search efforts. The parents were saying that, we're not used to going through something like this, and given that, the terrain is very rough in terms of the embankment, they wanted to bring in a national organization who specialized in, search efforts like this and try to help them be able to aid them during this time to try and find Riley.
What's one thing, Brendan, that has struck you about this particular story and this case that you maybe haven't had time to dive into in a newscast, because we are limited in time there?
Yeah, it's interesting. We put a lot of information up on our WSME website and our other social media platforms. We're able a little bit more space to expand on this story than we do in a newscast where we have a limited amount of time to tell the story. And it's really that backstory about Riley, what he was like as a person. Everyone says that he was a 22-year-old college student. He was a big member of his Delta Chi fraternity, and he was just life of the party. So many of his friends loved him so dearly, and they're just as heartbroken as his family is right now.
And it sounds like he had a great relationship with his parents. I mean, I believe his mom had said, we were texting earlier that night, like all was well.
Exactly. They were talking, he said, every single day with both his stepfather, Chris, and then his mother, Michelle, and they're just not used to not hearing from him. It's been this long since they've heard from Riley. That's part of what is making it so stressful for them when we've talked with them. His mom's breaking down and crying almost anytime I'm seeing her, and it's just so heartbreaking.
Absolutely. And speaking of heartbreaking, I mean, that's really what resonated most with me, because his story resonates with a lot of folks across the country, because we've all went out to Broadway for a night on the town and to not return home. I mean, that's why it truly strikes a chord with everyone. I mean, his mother told us that last year they came here for a formal and there were no issues. So they were not necessarily worried about him coming out here to the formal. So that's why it's like kind of alarming as to, what happened in this situation.
I think you're so right. You just hit the nail on the head. It's something that a lot of people can say, wow, if it can happen to him with his group of friends who he trusts.
You hear that they've been there before for a formal, so perhaps he and the others are familiar with the downtown area in Nashville. So maybe that's why he walked that way, drunk or not. He knew the area. He was just taking a walk. Maybe that was his intention. I don't know. So you can judge this story 1,000 ways because you don't know anything. Because you don't know Riley Strain. That's the problem. Until you know a person or something about them credible, you really don't know where to take the story. As you heard, they searched the area, but naturally they're looking for a body, not a debit card. So perhaps they didn't see the debit card. They're looking for a whole body. What is the truth to this story? Because it's going to be 2 weeks when Friday gets here if this child hasn't surfaced alive or deceased. And by now, I think his body would have floated, especially with the water going down. That should help, buoy a body up. 7 feet, that's a massive amount of water to go down as far as river. So by now, you would think. But then you have to ask yourself, if you fell in the water almost 2 weeks ago, how far the body would have traveled. All that matters, I guess. Currents, this and that, what's under the water. I don't know. I really have no idea at this point. I'm almost afraid to get any update at this point because it's just like, it's weird. Now, 1 minute they're saying the parents are frustrated. The next minute they're confident that the police is doing their job. So are you confident or you're not confident? I'm confused. The mother says the child's her best friend. Then she says the friend's the best friend. But I don't feel like anybody was his best friend that night, personally, because he's not here and he wandered out. And he was still trying to bar hop. And I was listening to this woman's channel where she's using these tarot cards. I don't really get into all that, but she even said it in her conversation last night when I watched the video. She says, I believe he was still wanting to bar hop. Of course he did. It was still early. Why would he not want to? He's a young person. He's been kicked out of a bar. He's not trying to go in. But what doesn't make any sense is the direction he was walking in by the cop. There's no bars over there. There was no nothing. No eateries, no restaurant, no food trucks. So then you're curious, well, why are you walking this way? You see, even drunk, you can still see it's nothing in that direction. Why not turn around? This is what makes you believe it's more to the story. Because drunk or not, he knew when he got to that curb, crossed that street, at the end of that street, he knew wasn't shit on that damn sidewalk or that area, but some damn buildings that don't got no nothing, no bar, no nothing. And you have not heard that yet in One News that there was a bar or a restaurant or a McDonald's on that strip going toward the bridge and under the bridge. So I feel like he walked under there deliberately, drunk or not. He knew exactly where he was going. Now, where he was trying to go, I don't know. But he deliberately walked on that street because there's nothing over there from what they've shown. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hello, Jersey Lady. Hello, everybody. Sammy Tay.
who else could happen to? So I think that is the piece that really strikes a chord. What's your major takeaway? And we're going to wrap this up in just a second, but your major takeaway, something that maybe people haven't gotten the true sense of, but that you've seen or felt behind the scenes on this?
Every day, something that stood out to me is his parents' commitment to try to bring him home. The stepdad said, "We're going to find our boy," and the mom's like, "I'm going to go get my son." So it's like, regardless of the outcome, there's a commitment to taking Riley back to Missouri, where he belongs.
Well, I appreciate both of you sharing your insight on this story and a little perspective on a case that we've been covering for almost 2 weeks now. If you know anything or you want to join in the search, we've got information on how to do that or how to share information. You can find that right now on the WSMB4 News app. Thank you and have a great day. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Well, the word on the street is that he never got into the second bar. He was denied entry. He left Loop 32 and went to a bar across the street and was not allowed in. And that starts this journey of walking around. Let's see what Court TV has to say. The link is in the chat if you would like to come up on the panel and give your opinion pertaining to this storyline. I'm not going to stay on here much longer. That is the reason why I went live through the stream. It's so people could come up and give their opinion. I have too many new subscribers and visitors for you all not to hit the link. That's what it's for, so you can give your opinion instead of chatting in the chat. That is the only reason why I'm not going live by the phone, is because I wanted to give different people who are following the story and people new to this channel to have a voice and come up on the panel to give your opinion. But I see obviously nobody wants to come up, which I don't never understand that, because everybody complains. They want to talk, they want to give their opinion, but it's in the chat. Nobody's hitting the link. That's the only reason why I went live through the computer for the StreamYard, so you would have a chance to come up and give your opinion. But obviously nobody wants to give their opinion. Strange. Very strange. Because frankly, I'm about 2 minutes from not talking about this story anymore until they find a body, one way or the other. Because it's not going anywhere. Let's see. We're talking about Riley Strain. Let's see.
Morning time, we get all warmed up and ready to go together. So right now, why don't you grab that cup of coffee, because it's time for my opening statement.
You don't need a microphone.
You know what's worse than a
You do not need a microphone. You do not need headsets. All you have to do is hit the link. It will give you the instructions. You can either keep your camera on or keep your camera off. But you do not need a microphone and you do not need a headset, because that usually causes buzzing sounds when you have the headsets on and all of that. You don't need any of that to call in on the link. You can enter the link by iPad, desktop, computer, laptop, or your own phone. Just saying.
criminal, a dirty cop. At least with criminals, you know.
I thought she was talking about this. She must be talking about different stories. I'm trying to find the one we're talking about. This young man. Hold on one second. This is the opening statement. They obviously got a lot of stories they'll talk about. Riley here in a second. Hold on. I've got to find it here. There it is. Okay.
Yeah. Amen. Franz, you're right. We'll see if he is found delinquent. You're absolutely right. If he's adjudicated delinquent at this year's.
We know that Riley was possibly texting and communicating with multiple people. Again, we don't know the exact people. We don't know the exact timeline.
We've got the latest on the search for missing University of Missouri student Riley Strain. There are reports swirling this morning about his last known text message. We'll talk about it next, and a preview of today's big motions for homicide.
All right.
ago after a night out with his fraternity brothers in Nashville, Tennessee. He was last seen on camera near the Cumberland River. And on Tuesday's parents held a press conference asking the public for help and expressing how hard this has been on them and on Riley's friends.
It's just as hard on them as it is on us.
And right now, we really are focusing on
bringing Riley home.
his last point.
He's my best friend. He's everything.
Let's talk about this case. I have three great guests standing by with me right now. Retired police sergeant with the Nashville Police Department, Melissa Pinkleton, criminologist, author, and professor at St. Thomas University, Dr. Debbie Goodman, and executive producer and entertainment host of the Pascal Show, Pascal Beaubuff. Good morning to you all. Thank you for being with us. Sergeant Pinkleton, let me start with you, please. Riley Strain's parents are saying that the police aren't doing enough. What's your reaction to that?
As a parent, I absolutely I can feel how they would feel that way. I absolutely can understand how they feel that way. It's hard to separate the emotion from the logical thing.
The lady that's speaking is Melissa Pinkleton. She is a retired Metro Nashville police sergeant, worked in this line of work, law enforcement, for 20 years, has made more than 1,400 arrests in her career. Melissa Pinkleton, former retired Nashville sergeant.
Things that have to be done for them, which again, very understandable. But the police are they're really doing everything they can with all the resources that they have. They have combed through so much video footage. If you think about it, cell phone footage, businesses, footage from them, there's hours upon hours to comb through. And although we have a time frame, which narrows it down a lot, we have many, many locations within that time frame. And then to break that down even further, within that time frame, something of interest, they have to break that footage down and go even further from there. And so it's an insurmountable thought, the amount of information that only a small unit is able to work with. Because while this is going on, it's not that they don't want to have every single resource to this investigation. There are also other crimes and investigations happening in Nashville at the same time. So
very true what she's saying. Other crimes are transpiring in Nashville. They have an uptick of crime as well. So imagine using all your resources for one person missing. Not to be disrespectful to him, his family, but he is not the only person missing in probably Nashville, the surrounding area, other jurisdictions in the world itself. So imagine getting all these people, detectives, people on foot, getting the boats out. Somebody's got to drive the boat. All that costs overtime for people working the case. As you hear her say, going through data, gathering phones, seizing phones, getting warrants for Apple and the Apple Watch, so on and so on. It's work. It's work. They have to get search warrants for every item they want to search. And yes, there are other crimes in Nashville. So you have to look at all of what it entails in searching for a person, gathering information, taking in tips, having someone work the tip line, answer the phones. That is work. Somebody has to go through the tips, decipher what they deem important or not. That's man-made, woman-made work. Naturally, they need the phones of the people who were with him. You got to ask, I need your phone. They don't want to give it, then you got to go get a warrant to try to seize their phone. This isn't easy. Because you want to assess everybody involved who saw him was around him. Now you hear he talked to multiple people that night. So now you got to ask, was he talking to people while the time frame of getting out of Luke's and wandering around the city? And why was he going in that direction? Wanted to go there, what? I'm about to lean towards he wasn't that disoriented once he got to the curb and realized he was going by the water. Because there's nothing there. I mean, there's nothing that's what I consider entertainment.
Well, they have deployed drones, they have deployed dogs, they have urban search and rescue, they've had volunteer search and rescue, and they have not let up. Let me tell you, from being here in Nashville, it is 24/7. This is still the thing that's top of the hour, all day, every day. So while I understand how she is feeling as a mama, The resources that are being deployed and used all day long and all night, every day here, they are still going really hard all day.
Sergeant Pinkleton, thank you for that. Dr. Debbie Goodman, I want to turn to you next, please. You are an expert in criminology, and based on these facts, I'm curious if you believe that something criminal happened to Riley Strain.
Well, good morning, Julie, and always a pleasure to join you. What I believe is that there is some potential here for a drug component. When we look, Julie, at the decorum, the demeanor, we see him on the surveillance, something just simply is not right. So when something doesn't look right, sound right, feel right, we have to look at all options. Let's talk about what we know. Here's what we know. It's the month of March. And we know that we have nearly 1 million college and university students between the ages of 18 and 24 who are traveling to various locations within the United States, traveling abroad. Here's also what we know. Information from the CDC, our Center for Disease Control, WHO, our World Health Organization, points to an uptick, Julie, unfortunately, in what we refer to as club drugs. So that would be categories such as methamphetamine, fentanyl, ecstasy, the psilocybins. These are the hallucinogenic drugs. So whether a drug was ingested willfully and or against one's will, I think potentially these are the conversations that families need to be having with their loved ones about safety, security, and survival.
Most definitely. Excellent insight as always, Dr. Debbie. Thank you for that. According to a friend, we know Riley Strain last texted a girl that he was seeing. She texted him to see how he was doing, if he was having fun. He sent kind of a scripted text back to her saying, and we're quoting directly, "Good lops, LOPS." And this was conveyed by Riley's good friend, Chris Dingman, who's been doing some media interviews on Monday. One of those interviews was to our guest this morning, Pascal Beaubuff. Pascal, to you next, please. When you were talking with Riley Strain's friend, Chris, did he share any insight on what he thought that text message might have meant?
He honestly said, and good morning to everybody as well, honored to be here. He honestly just said that he doesn't really know what it means. I feel like he was giving off the vibe that it's kind of a dead end type of text. I think it was just a misspell text. He could have been saying lulls, maybe lost, but I don't think it was anything cryptic. Definitely not low on power. Sorry. He even said that too. He's like, I even corresponded with the girl that he was texting with, and he's like, she even had to Google it to see what it could possibly mean. So that should also kind of explain that particular text to begin with.
Sure, Pascal. So he didn't seem to want to put too much weight on it, huh? That really wasn't where he feels like the focus should be.
No.
Thank you for that. Sergeant Pinkleton, back to you, please. We have a clip where Riley Strain encountered a police officer on the street. We've been watching that body camera footage again and again. Let's take a look at it together now.
All right, everybody, brief intermission. I'll try to finish this. Tay, I'll be with you in 1 second when this comes off here, this conversation.
How you doing, sir? I'm good. How are you? Good.
Sergeant, you know this area well. What's the crime activity like in this area where Riley Strain was last seen?
So because this was a late night, this was a party weekend, the crime in that area is pretty high, especially spring break, that time of year. You have a lot of homeless people in that area, a lot of homeless people. So your vandalism, your minor theft, your petty theft, your trespassers, but you have your car burglaries, and without knowing what that officer was doing there, what I can tell you is for some reason that red truck caught his eye, and he was more so looking into that truck to see what's going on. And Riley popped over on the side going parallel with the river, as I see, and the officer was just kind of, that's his way of scanning the area. He saw Riley and then was like, how you doing? Just to be kind, and because they're very tourist friendly in Nashville, as they should be, and have him go by. But there's a lot of theories floating around. The main one that seems to be sticking, though, is that it is believed that he possibly fell in the river because his activity going towards the river, and now you see him paralleling the river there on the officer's body cam. And so that is still a big belief here. Or if he was possibly maybe mugged and put in the river, we don't know. We're hoping to find him safe and sound, but right now we're still working with the river theory.
Mm-hmm. Right, Sergeant. And it is a very plausible theory. I appreciate you bringing that up, and let's not forget that. Pascal, back to you, please. In gathering information about what witnesses might have seen, we know there were 2 homeless camps where Riley Strain passed by. There were witnesses that saw him. Do you think there could be any clues with any of those people who might have seen him in the final minutes at the riverbank when his phone last pinged?
I think absolutely. I mean, there's been eyewitnesses making accounts of hearing some sort of commotion just up where his last ping was, saying that someone called back down saying, oh yeah, he's okay, he's fine, he's just drunk. And then they went off and did, carried on with the rest of their night. Absolutely, I really do believe that there's been also other accounts of another homeless man allegedly wearing his shirt. There's been claims about that within Old Tent City as well. Some other people that have seen this homeless man wearing his shirt. So yeah, there's been so many pieces of information that have been given from Old Tent City, from other eyewitnesses as well, that yeah, it feels like there could have been some real commotion going on. And I'm wondering, where did he go? What happened here?
Right, Pascal, absolutely. Dr. Debbie Goodman, I would love for you to take us home on this discussion, please. I have a clip I'd like to play for you. This is David Flagg. He's the National Director of Operations for the United Cajun Navy. Let's take a listen to what he's saying about no foul play suspected.
At this point, there is no evidence that I'm aware of that would indicate foul play. Y'all know how it goes on Facebook and social media. There's been a lot of chatter on there about the fact that Riley's debit card was found on the riverbank, and that is prima facie evidence of criminal activity, something of that nature there. I don't agree with that.
Dr. Debbie, wondering if you feel that what you're hearing, from he's not the first official to say it about no foul play suspected at this point, supports your theory about potential drugging even further.
Right. I would still maintain, Julie, there's nothing yet that I see that really points the red flag in the direction of foul play. I really think, unfortunately, whether there was willful participation in a narcotic or perhaps, and very likely so, it was given against one's will and knowledge, but yet it may have had this impact both mentally and physically on Riley's ability to function well. And I do agree with Melissa. I'm also leaning toward a theory that potentially he may have made his way toward the river, toward the lake, and we should look there.
Right, Dr. Debbie, I'm with you. I was giving my opening statement about it the other day. It's very sad, and we all hope for the best for Riley Strain and his family. I think everyone would want nothing more to have his safe return. But being realistic and looking at all the facts and his last known location, the inebriation, it does not look good. We have to leave it there for now, but this was a really meaningful discussion. Thank you all, Sergeant Melissa Pinkleton, Dr. Debbie Goodman, and Pascal Bobuff. Great to have you all on this story. Thank you kindly. We'll see you soon.
All right, everybody. Tay, where you calling from?
I'm calling from Denver.
Okay. Turn your volume down. Oh, Lord. I got to remove that. That sounds horrible. Hold on.
So I'm sorry.
Do you have something in the background playing?
No, I'm just on my son's tablet.
Okay, well, the echo's bad.
Because I don't have anything on except for my little fireplace.
Okay, because I can't talk. Echoing.
Do you want me to try to come back in?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. Okay. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ began to 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome to the live. We're now in hour 1, 39 minutes. If you have something you'd like to say on this panel, please come up, because I wanted to keep this live short if I could. So once again, did he go in the river on his own? If so, why? If he went on his own, pushed in the river, shoved in the river. As I said, when you walk down that sidewalk, there are different points of entry, and some of it's over a rail, naturally, trees, shrubbery, all that, drop-offs, cliffs. You don't know. You can just only assume, well, it's under the bridge somewhere, or the last ping. Then you got to try to factor in that last ping versus where the cart was found. I'm not really getting a good understanding of where he walked past the cop. What's the proximity from there to where the cart was found? Could he have just jumped in the water, like I said, unalived himself somewhere on top of the bridge, under the bridge? I don't know. Hurt, pushed, shoved. Just seems weird from up top, because all that's made different up there near the sidewalk. You've got rails, you've got trees, you've got branches. You don't really have a guarantee you're going to go directly in the water up there. If you got pushed over the rail and maybe you fell over the rail between the trees, your body wouldn't go directly down. None of it makes any sense to me. All right, Tay-Tay's mom, where are you calling from? You said Denver?
I'm calling from Denver. Is this better?
Yes, this is better. Okay, give me your opinion pertaining to the content you've heard during this live.
Denver, Colorado.
I heard you. They got searches now with this Cajun Navy. They didn't feel confident with the police department doing their job. The parents, then they say now they have faith for them doing the job. We got the issue with the car, text messages, what happened in the bar. Now we have a mention of 3 bars. He got left. Friend went back up. Don't know how long he stayed in the bar. They called almost 2:00 the next day. Didn't call that morning to the police. Just a lot of information. What I'm going to ask you just point blank. Do you believe the man is alive or dead? Hello? Oh, Lord.
I don't think he is alive.
Okay.
But I don't think he is alive.
Okay. What do you think happened to him?
And I don't think he's in the river.
Well, what
I think whatever happened under that bridge, it has to do with them homeless people.
Okay. Okay, so don't you think his body would have surfaced by now? Hello?
It would have.
Right. So, as I said before, you're talking about people on foot. How are you going to get rid of somebody 6'6" by foot?
You're not. I think they jumped him. That's why the bank card was there.
Okay, but what did they do with the body, Tay-Tay?
And I think he walked on, but we just don't see him. I think he walked further down and somebody picked him up, and that's where his life ended.
So you're saying, I'm confused. Homeless people jumped him. He got himself up. Somebody offered him a ride, and then they took him somewhere and hurt him. Okay. Oh, Lordy.
Yes.
Okay. Hagen, what do you have to say? This is not working out up here.
Hello there.
Hello, how are you?
Hello there.
Hello, how are you?
He's not in the river. He would have floated up within 4 days.
Oh, mercy.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you, honey.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You go ahead and
He's
talk.
not in the river. He would have floated up in 4 days.
Okay. Well, how do you pinpoint it? How do you pinpoint it at 4
I
days?
believe after the cop.
Slow down. How do you pinpoint it at 4 days?
Because
Hello?
the river temperature was 50 degrees. That means that you're.
Yeah, but look here. You know that a person could get hung on something. We don't really know what's under the water. We don't know if it's murky. I mean, we can use deduction. It's mud, this and that, tree branches, all kind of stuff. What if he got hung on something thrown down in the water?
Well, according to there's a kayak thing on the river. They say that within you have 10 to 15 feet on either side that you could actually walk and stand up on before it dips the water and gets. So even if he was in the water, he would have had to go to the middle and swim.
Well, that's what I was thinking when I saw.
If he was alive. He's not in that river. He would have done turned up. See, the middle of your body produces gases which would make you float, and the water has to be really hot for him to float fast. That's why it would take up to 4 days for him to surface. I can't experiment, but I can look up facts. I think there's a lag or something.
Okay, I had to step away for a second. So, well then, because we're just really going around in circles saying the same thing.
When he
don't think
left
he's in the water.
when he was seen with the cop.
Oh Lordy. I don't know what to say about this. This case is starting to make my head hurt. Go ahead.
No. I think he got picked up after the cop.
Okay.
And I believe he made some phone calls, and I'm starting to think that he exchanged numbers with folks in the bar.
Well, nobody ever thought about that. Did he met somebody in the bar and met them?
And someone stopped and picked him up after the police.
Okay. Interesting. Or did he get a ride offered by somebody who pretended to be rideshare? That could be the situation as well.
And if they had nefarious reasons or did nefarious things, they did it.
Somebody could have said, "Hi, I'm an Uber, I'm a Lyft, you stranded." Who knows? See, we don't know.
And it.
You're breaking up.
And if he was picked up by someone, he would have, they would have taken him out of the downtown area to get rid of him. And it's as simple as throwing him out of their car, driving him somewhere. He could be alive and roaming and not know who he is in another city, a town, not far.
Well, do you think he took a drug or was given a drug?
But I don't think he's in the river.
Yeah. Well, anyway, do you think he took a drug or he was given a drug? Hello?
They could have drugged him with a drink.
Okay, but do you think he took a drug willingly?
I don't know. Anything is possible because we don't know his state of mind.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make today, is that nobody knows him, not even his family, because there are a lot of things that people have done and said that people would be shocked to know a person did or said. So my thing is, you really don't know what his frame of mind For all I know, he got depressed on this trip, just wandering around, and could have easily just walked in the river, jumped in the river, could have walked up one of the bridges. I couldn't see him going up the stairs, of course, but hey, I don't know. Because nothing seems cohesive at the moment, because that's the point. We don't know what really happened to the young man. So you don't really know where to take the situation, because you don't know it.
Yeah, because they're searching the Cheatham Dam, which is 25 miles downriver. It has a grinder thing to it that grinds up things that in the river so it flows better, and they shut it down. So, but that's 25 miles downriver. But like I said, I don't think he's in the water, because he would have done surfaced.
What? I can't hear nothing you're saying.
Let me.
Sorry, I'm in the kitchen making me some coffee. Well, how many miles is this? Come out this area because I can't hear myself. Sorry about the interruption, everybody. How long is this river? Where does it go? Endless possibilities pertaining to this case, because you don't know anything. One, you don't know the guy. You don't know him. You don't know the people he was hanging with. You don't know if he hooked up with somebody, at the bar in the town, already knew somebody in the town. The people he was talking to, conversating with. We'd have to have their conversations, screenshots of their conversations, text, who he texted. Did he have a second phone, burner phone? Was he jumped under the bridge? Did he walk past the bridge and get jumped, lured, kidnapped? Don't know. Because one, you don't have a body to determine anything. So it's just a really jacked up situation, because you just don't know what the hell is going on in this case. And some might feel kind of, funky about the case. Well, damn, you don't have this much search rescue for this person missing or this person missing. I don't totally understand that. I would totally understand that. Because people go missing every day. All around the United States, all over the world. Some might say it's too much focus on one person. You're entitled to your opinion. One guy commented under a video, seems like the only people concerned about this story is the news and YouTubers. So I had to reply, or I replied rather. Well, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are concerned about him, not just social media and the news. I don't know if they were trying to be smart or cynical, but the point is, I would assume there are a lot of people who are concerned. If you go to his Facebook page, a lot of people have commented, if that's his actual Facebook page. So I'm assuming a lot of people are concerned about his welfare, including his parents. Like I said, I don't know what's going to come about in this case. I don't know what's going to be revealed as far as more CCTV footage, sightings of him in the night, later in the night, or next day, daylight savings time. But if he is alive, somebody has seen him by now and would say, okay, that's the guy that's missing. So if he's walking around somewhere or hiding out, or if he's seen, somebody should call the police and say, he's over here. Now, is this a hoax? I don't know. But we're not going to really know anything until a body surfaces. A body doesn't surface alive or deceased. You really don't have anything. You don't have anything. Because everything is still somebody's version of what they said. He said. You got to have a receipt. And right now, nothing has been released about the data of the people he's talked to. So we just wait. Yes, ma'am. Hello? Well, nobody's talking. I'm talking to myself. Woo, Lordy. But it keeps falling off. Well, I'm not going to hold you all because I don't want to do any more long lives, take up too much time. And there's no new updates. Just that the United Cajun Navy from Louisiana, they are in Nashville to assist in searching. You're entitled to your opinion of what you think happened to this young man. If he's alive, deceased, fell in the river, went in the river, jumped in the river, pushed in the river, rolled in the river, mugged. But as I told you yesterday, when it comes to people, unaliving people, especially when they don't have anything invested, they're not going to be hiding their body and taking their body anywhere. If he got hurt downtown, they would leave him right where the assault took place. Robbery, assault, whichsoever. Nobody's getting ready to carry this body around by foot because it would be too risque to carry a damn near 7-foot person around. How would you conceal him? Then you would need help. So that's why I'm on the fence about someone hurting him that was on the ground downtown, whether they were homeless or not. By foot, I don't see that happen, okay? So I don't really know what's going on with this case. I have no idea. But I can't even begin to say somebody on the ground did it downtown, because you have to be able to carry that body somewhere, or you're going to leave the body there. And like I said, I don't see somebody carrying the body because that's too risky. They will leave him there out in the open. He would have been found day one. So that's why I can't bank on homeless people and somebody on the ground in the downtown area, because they have nothing invested to go hide the body. 2, it's too risky hiding the body. You're going to need help because he's a big person. So that would lead me to believe he got in the car with somebody, or he went and met somebody somewhere in a car. And that's why you don't have a body, whether it be alive or deceased. Is this a hoax? He planned this. Life wasn't going well. Depressed, mentally ill. Don't know. Jumped in the water because he was depressed, upset, felt betrayed by his friends that night, felt some type of way, couldn't get in another bar, felt like a loser, felt like a failure. Possibly, because that's the point. You don't know him. And I'd like to hear if he was battling any type of mental disorders, disease, or medications for depression, anxieties, PTSD, bipolar, something. Because who's to say he didn't have or have some type of issue, currently have an issue. Then you're mixing in with alcohol. Don't know if he popped a pill or something, or was given a pill, Mickey. My thing is, I'm not even about to lean towards the drug scenario, because he was drinking. He's been from bar to bar. Drugs don't even have to have anything to do with this. They just told you they went to 3 bars. So there's no way you're going to believe he was inebriated when he got to Luke 32. And you got to decide, buzz, drunk, fully drunk, turned up drunk. I don't know. But 3 bars, and you want me to believe he wasn't drunk? And then you're escorted out of a bar because you're drunk, and then you're still trying to get into another bar, and they don't let you in 9 times out of 10, 10 out of 10, because you are drunk. So we can use deduction. He was drunk. And more than likely, he was drunk when he got to Luke 32. And the Godfather says they were there for 1 hour and 45 minutes. So somebody told him that. So he probably was there buying drinks, and those people are lying about the 1 drink, because he's a guy. And I would assume a guy can guzzle more than 1 drink in 1 hour and 45 minutes. I'm just saying. Now, he probably ordered those waters to try to sober himself up because he felt inebriated, or he just likes to chase his water while he's drinking. See, I don't know, because I don't know him. But I know people like to drink water when they're drinking to help curb, the buzz drunk sensation, and not to get so inebriated. I don't know what is what. But when I get more information, I will bring you an update pertaining to Riley Strain. Please go to my community page to take the polls, the updates pertaining to this case. Like I said, if I get an update, I will bring you that information. If I also get an update pertaining to Sebastian Rogers, I will bring you that update. I might go live a little bit later on a story I just found. I believe it's coming from up north. Very wicked tale of some elderly women that were accosted in her home. And I'll bring you that information. Please check my community board for all polls, updates, breaking news, 2 movies of the week, The Caller, and also I believe The Talk is one of the other movies on the suggestion page. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. Always hit that like button when you come into the Vault XL. God bless all of you. Happy hump day. Hope you all have a prosperous week and a wonderful weekend. And I'll try to be back with more stimulating conversation to breaking news. Once again, Riley Strain, 22 years of age, from Missouri, is still missing. Last seen in Nashville, Tennessee, in the downtown area. Do not know what has happened to him. Do not know if he's alive or deceased. Fake crime, lured, kidnapped, jumped in the river, thrown in the river, rolled in the river. I don't know. But I would pray that the police department, they are doing their best. And they are a lot of resources now out there, people on foot, strangers helping. And there are also going to be people who are going to be meddlesome and throw themselves in the case that don't have a dog in the race, don't know anything about the case, but just want some attention. And those are the people you need to be leery of, because there's just a sick sensation of people wanting to get involved in true crime cases and be seen. And I'm still leery of this debit card, credit card being found. It's just strange, because now you're trying to figure out how that card got down there on those rocks. And most people are going to use deduction and just say, well, he must have dropped it, went in the water, or he got robbed and they threw the card out because they were too afraid to use it. But the flip side is, crooks usually don't care. They will find a way to use a card. If they had to go try to barter with somebody to try to use the card, and they split the difference and get somebody halfway decent to run the card, or decent looking rather. I don't know. It's just a bizarre situation. Will we get footage from all bars? Any more CCTV footage of the man walking around the city or anywhere else outside of the downtown area? Screenshots of all conversations with Riley Strain from his friends, associates, anybody unknown that other friends and family don't know of. What is the truth to the disappearance of Mr. Strain? Is he alive or is he deceased? We will see. Thank you for joining me. You've been listening to The Vault XL.